Honorable Minister and I, we are related. We are from, you see, her own grandmother and the arms to my own grandfather, they are cousins. And I'll tell you why. The reason why I want to tell you that, and I can prove it, is that if all of us should go back to the womb of our mothers, and everybody goes back to the womb of their mothers, we shall all end up in one single womb. That's the womb of our great mother, Eve. Now, if I tell you that the Honorable Minister and I are related now, you understand very well what I mean. And this is what is written in the scriptures, the Quran and the Bible. We all believe in the great-grandmother Eve. And we are all the same brothers and sisters. We should watch and look after one another. I am your brother. You are my sister. I should defend you. I should fight for your right. I should look after you. I should stand up for you. Because you are my sister. You are my mother. You are my aunt. You are my daughter. We all came from the same source. That notwithstanding, I want us to understand that the scriptures, sorry, forgive me, I may not be able to speak much because I'm not an authority when it comes to the Bible, but I believe strongly that we share a whole lot of things in common. The greatest women in history, you hear them mentioned in the scriptures. Who has never heard of Queen Sheba, the Queen of Sheba? We call her Bilqis in the Quran. The Quran extols her virtue as a great woman, a great leader of her community, and her leadership style is something that can be emulated by all leaders of the world for all time. That was a woman. If you look at the mother of Moses, I believe the scriptures refer to her. That was somebody who represented faith, represented hope, represented determination. The mother of the leader of a whole nation of people. You have to be a mother before you understand what it was when you give birth to a baby boy, and God did not say, hide him under the bed. God said, take him to the river and leave him there to my care. But a great woman did not just go home to sleep. She ensured that somebody followed up, and because of her steadfastness, she still came back to look after her baby by herself. It took a whole lot of courage that we have not read any man will ever demonstrate for a woman to so trust in God. For those who want to talk about spirituality, the women have overtaken men in that. If you look at Hajara, we call her Hajara, she's called Hagar, and Sarah. Those are the wives of Abraham. And I believe the Bible also mentioned Keturah as one of the other wives of Abraham. I want you to look at the children these women brought to life. From the side of Isaac to the side of Ishmael, these women made their children to be who they were, and that is why even the religion we hold on to, that is how it got to us today. It is special thanks to the women who did this job. Who has never heard of Zuleia, the wife of Joseph? Who didn't hear of the wife of Zachariah? We call her Zachariah. Zachariah happened to be the mother of John the Baptist. John the Baptist happened to be the mentor of Jesus Christ. And who has never heard of the greatest of all women ever mentioned in the Quran? That was Mary, Maryam, the mother of Jesus Christ. That was the greatest woman ever mentioned in the Quran. For us to understand all of these very well, we must not lose sight of the fact that the right of women is also human right. We must not understand that women have a role to play in the leadership of humanity. Men deceive and cheat themselves if they leave the women behind in the things that they want to do. On this note, I want to stand on what my brother said about Siddiq, that whatever thing it is, there's difference between the culture and the religion of people. We have confused them, we have mixed them together, and it is very, very unfortunate. There are so many cultural practices all over the world, in Nigeria especially, that surround women, including some myths and things that are not godly. Right from the time a woman sees her first menses, so many things are attached to that. She shouldn't touch things, she shouldn't do things, she's kept aside in some cultures. Right from when she's going to get married, she's married out and taken out as if she were a chattel. Up until the time that she gives birth to a child, there are so many rights and things that are demeaning to women in some cultures. If she gives birth to twins, it's another problem. If she did not give birth to any at all, it's another problem. If she gave birth to only girls, it's another problem. It is not religion that says women should be treated like this. It is some cultures that impose these things on the women. Worse still, if her husband should die. In some cultures, she is so treated in such a way that even God will be ashamed of men. Why would they treat their women this way? Because of some cultural practices. Now, you agree with me that it is not religion that has made women to be in the back. It is some cultural things. And I believe that if religious bodies, clerics and clergies, imams and pastors, if we can go straight back to our scriptures and read the portions that actually empower the women, because we have so much followership and our people believe so much in what we say, I believe it's a matter of time, all of these negative energies that we impose on women will be a thing of the past.
All the acknowledged and those challenges that we really cannot acknowledge openly. Nigerian women have been struggling and are doing well in surmounting these challenges to ensure that they contribute meaningfully to the national development. So once more, kudos to Nigerian women. Women in public service have not been left out. I can stand here proudly to say that the women in public service have been doing very well, if not better, than the men. If you want anything done properly, meticulously, with a lot of cost savings, then it's important for you to look for a woman in service to ensure that this is done. And so I acknowledge all the women that have been working tirelessly in public service. You have been doing very, very well. I acknowledge also that there are quite a number of challenges that are facing women in public service. And we have been trying to ensure that most of these challenges are being dealt with so that the women, we're not even, as in public service, we're not asking that women should be given a privilege or a privileged stage to stand on. All we're asking for is that the stage should be a flat platform so that women can compete.
Condition for marriage is, well, my wife will not work. Please take your request to another house. She will work provided she wants to. If she does not, then that is it. Because that is where we are missing the point. There are opportunities that women do not use or the parents do not know. The nuptial contract can indicate a lot of things that will surprise you. One of which is, yes, you want to marry my daughter, okay, let us write. Islam encourages contract, even before the law of contract was enacted. Let us have a contract. What happens if this happens? If you marry another wife to my daughter, this one ceases to exist. It could be, I want my daughter to be your only wife. If you agree as the husband, it stands. Anytime my daughter feels that she is fed up, she does not want this relationship, she can go out of it and divorce you. It's part of the contract. Once the husband accepts that contract, it is binding and ratified.
Today is a very important day, not only for women across the globe, but even for the men whom the women take care of all through. Therefore, the need for gender equality and women's empowerment in public life cannot be overemphasized. Hence, I'm very elated that the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women provides a platform where stakeholders can engage to promote discussions and stimulate action in this regard. This year's priority theme, which focuses on women's participation and decision-making in public life and the elimination of violence against women, could not be more apt, considering the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on gender-based violence. Research has shown that pre-existing violent social norms, gender inequalities, and socioeconomic pressures triggered by the pandemic have caused an aggressive rise in gender-based violence. Beyond this, studies reveal that women have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic, as they generally have to earn less and save less, whilst their jobs hang in the balance. Reports have also shown a spike in unpaid care work, where women bear the brunt of children out of school, heightened care needs of older persons, and reprioritized healthcare services. With women primarily at the receiving end of the socio-economic effects of the pandemic, having more women in leadership and governance could not be more urgent than now. However, in spite of the limitations faced by women around the world, we continue to strive for participation in leadership and decision-making, and have made remarkable contributions in all sectors globally. Noteworthy is the appointment of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the first African and woman to head the World Trade Organization, as well as the recently sworn-in first female president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan. This is proof that gender equity can be attained and should be made top priority as the world journeys towards achieving sustainable development. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development, through our humanitarian interventions and empowerment programs, seeks to uphold the dignity of women and girls and advance gender equality. In 2020, we introduced the Grant for Rural Women programs as one of our interventions to enhance social inclusion. We also have in place a program geared towards uplifting women households who are the caregivers of these households, where we give them monthly intervention for them to take care of their families. This program has been on since 2016, and over 90% of the beneficiaries of these house uplifting programs are women. Thus, we are institutionalizing women's equal and increased participation in the society, which remains a priority focus for the ministry, whilst we aim to provide social protection systems that are proactive, humane, targeted, inclusive, and sustainable for the improvement and general welfare of the citizens of this country. I wish to reiterate that women's participation in governance at all levels is critical to our country's sustainable development, which will enable us build governance structures that are fair, equitable, and representative of women across all sectors in the country.